of epic proportions, and I'll tell you why. Let me tell you a story. Let me bring you into this thing. This morning, I tested Fab like normal. The first thing.
I think that intro, we're not on a delay either, so the intro, we may have been talking over the intro at that point. So you guys enjoy that, yeah. Welcome.
Does my voice match my mouth? So I woke up early.
You tell me, man.
So I could get ready and shower and stuff before my Fab testing. Did the Fab testing.
Yeah, what grade did you get?
What grade did I get?
Yeah.
A+. A++. But we'll talk more about Fab testing in a second. So Fab testing, and then, of course, during the Fab testing, I was eating my overnight oats, like you do. But then I was already ready.
You're so in character all the time. It's crazy.
Because I woke up a little early, and I was like, it's been a weird few weeks. We had COVID. Last week was COVID?
Yeah. I had a little spell of it.
Went to Vegas, of course.
Second run.
Then got COVID, totally unrelated. And that was last week. But I've been gone a lot. It's been a while since I've even been on it. We did the 2 Blitz streams, I guess. The preparing for Vegas streams.
Yeah, we did. Obviously, that went well for us.
Yeah, the stock of those videos has not gone up.
we did prepare, though.
Yeah, we were testing. Anyways, we're not here to talk about that. So I get done testing Fab. I finish a game. I've been testing a lot against Ice Heroes. You know, you might
that's probably worthwhile.
Icelander as
I'm going to ask you about that before we get out of here.
And so the last game I played took longer than your average Fab game. Ice. You know?
Like 20 minutes?
No, like most games when you're testing, you're just kind of playing pretty quick, and it's like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But even the Ice games, no matter what you're doing, it's like you're in the 40, 45-minute category. So it's like 7:45. And we normally finish testing around 8, so it's not. I don't have time for another 45-minute game. So I was like, I'll just head in early to work.
Yeah. Well, that's a real go-getter attitude.
Yeah. Well,
we appreciate that.
I've been gone for like 2 months.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
You're gonna get a raise in no time.
A lot of stuff. Yeah. Just tell my boss. All that to say, I got here. I just happened to get here a little earlier than normal, and walking up, and there's a guy outside, just standing there, and he's not like looking at me. He's, in fact, making an effort not to look at me.
Right, the classic energy.
And I go and I get to the door and
I'm an expert at that one myself.
And they like walk, he's like walking up behind you and I can see him in the reflection of the glass. And it's like, well, one or two things about to happen. I'm either about to die or there's going to be something positive for me. Hopefully I'm not getting served papers of some kind. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was like, hey, I have delivered for you. In my brain, we were expecting the Blitz decks from Uprising. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that those had already arrived yesterday. And so I was like, it's probably the Blitz decks. Cool. But actually, it was not the Blitz decks. It was the Uprising, a shipment that we've been waiting on. And let me tell you, Monday morning, we were having a meeting. Mm-hmm. And it was like, based on when this is shipping, we might not get this even till Friday.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer, because if we don't get it till midday Friday, we can't, it's almost impossible to get most of that out by the time shipping windows are closing. And then it's a holiday weekend, so shipping's closed on Monday for a lot of people. So now we're looking at
a real hand wringer.
Next Thursday or Friday is when a lot of people are going to be getting their boxes.
Worst case scenario for sure.
Delightful surprise, though.
Yes.
Stuff showed up today. So reason this stream is starting at 5:30 p.m. is that we spent the day all hands on deck, everyone in the company. We also have a couple other people, unrelated, I think, because we played it really safe. As soon as we even thought
you were never in the office after that.
Never came into the office after getting back from Vegas. Same with you came into the office one day.
I came in the first before I had 2 negatives. Came in here masked, did the stream, and then left masked. So you can't do terribly much better.
But anyways, we had a couple people out from COVID, but it was essentially everyone else that could be here was here, packing boxes all day of Uprising. I don't know if you can see my shirt. I couldn't get any of this off. It's just covered in like box material,
stuff.
And we rounded the corner, got all that ready, and like I was nervous that we were going to have. It's already been delayed a week. Next week, I think this weekend they're actually Road to National starting.
Yeah.
So then, like, people subscribing, not getting their boxes.
And Legislator's got to be feeling the heat on that, too.
Yeah.
Because we were calling about expediting the shipment and what can we do, and then a happy accident. And what time did the guy show up this morning?
He said he was here at 7.
So you're here at 7. It's not even business hours.
Yeah. And he when I walked up, he's like, I was, like, about to leave.
And there's no calls. There's no emails.
Yeah, and Lord have mercy. If he left, who knows when we get that stuff.
Get in the box.
If you're not here when they're trying to deliver something, you go to the back of the line. They're like, we're going to put this in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
And, like, good luck. And,
that's crazy.
And that's a nightmare. So all that to say, very fortunate. It came in. That's why the stream was late, because we definitely wanted to do everything we could to make sure this go out.
It's all boxed.
To be timed on
done.
A release day delivery as close as possible. So the vast majority of U.S. subscribers should have it by Friday or Saturday. If you're local, you also have that available to pick up on Friday. And we got done, and we just had our smoothies, or I have my smoothie. You're still drinking yours.
I'm still working on it, yeah. Very nice. Nice end of the day.
Wanted to let everyone know Uprising is going to happen. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much. We couldn't do any of these streams without you. And
one day turnaround, baby. We'll get them out tomorrow.
Out the door, man.
I think they'll be out the door tomorrow.
Crazy. It's a crazy
awesome.
day.
Yeah. Definitely after coming off of the what are we going to do if they don't show up till Friday conversation.
Yeah,
it's a happy moment.
Did we
have
prep
them
the
on
email
Tuesday.
to be like, hey, really sorry, but like nothing we could do about this one? Because even if it came in on Friday and we got as many out the door as we could that day, even if we got them all out the door that day, we may not be able to do anything about it, but we're still gonna, like, in people's brains, the feelings are gonna be towards us. Yeah, and it's a bummer. We had that last year with the Monarch Unlimited got caught up in USPS.
Mm-hmm.
And
wasn't there another thing that got shipped really late to us as well? I feel like one of them along the way did too.
It like came super late for some reason.
This one's been weird.
It was the snow.
Yeah, it was Snowmageddon.
We got snowed out. Yeah.
This one was weird. It just has always, from the start, it's been like the logistics side of Uprising has kind of been presented as like potentially problematic. Like everyone's like, legislators like, what?
And there was rumors going around this morning.
Here it is, though.
And yesterday that there might be another 1 week delay being put on the Senate.
Yeah. And some retailers might not get that. We got pretty fortunate. I don't know when, depending on your distribution situation or whatever, when they're going to show up for others.
It was so like it's not normal for me to be the one receiving a shipment. And there was a lot of crazy stuff going on. I won't go into the ins and outs and what have yous, but I definitely had to convince him to get that product off the truck.
Sir, you are not leaving.
I was like, look, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what service was paid for, because he thought we had like a loading dock. The way
you're paying liftgate service or whatever.
If you don't, they're supposed to have multiple staff people. Mm-hmm. And so he's like, I don't know if I can do this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we got people.
We got people and we've got money.
Yeah, and it's literally what it was. And we didn't pay him, but it was like, we need to make this happen. Period. And like. He was on the phone for like 45 minutes with his manager.
Oof, that's a nervous call.
It was just like,
you're just standing there.
If you don't tell him, I won't tell him. Because there's insurance risk, right? Like I get up on the truck and I'm like pushing product off. It's a whole thing.
That's a classic.
We made it happen, and I'm just relieved. Yesterday I was like not feeling, both as a player and as our company, right? Like even as a player, I would really love to get my product this week, and like to have a long weekend. Be able to open product, actually physically build decks. We've been doing testing a lot on TTS. Not my favorite.
Yeah. I've been enjoying grinding on TTS a little bit. I can get into that. Once I get a better internet out there, it'll be really good. My ping is 999. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's the kind of thing, it's so funny when your ping's bound on TTS too, because you're like trying to pick up a card and you can't, so you do it 20 times and then it just flies off the screen.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah, like Mike had to just like do everything for me. Yeah. I was like, can you pitch this card for me, please? And like point at it in my hand.
Dude, Prism Mike is the best TTS player on the planet.
That little cursor hand moves so fast. Like, he's just like grabbing everything.
I'm so bad at it, right? So we're playing and like he'll be doing things for me.
Yes.
Like clearing my board off and putting cards under my deck and stuff. And like, I'm like, where'd that go? And it's very funny.
Well, Uprising Drill, here it is. Here's a box of Uprising. It looks great. I mean, honestly, it looks fine. It's just kind of a red pattern. Certainly there are boxes that look better. I think Monarch looked better than this ultimately. It had that big spread of like the...
I think my favorite box so far is probably Tales of Aria.
Mm-hmm. Great colors. Yeah. Great font work on that and the whole thing.
Everfest was cool too for its vibe. You know what? I was talking in Discord last night or this morning. I don't really remember. It's all a haze now. About the carnival slot.
Yeah, that was the biggest bamboozle yet.
That
was a complete waste of time.
They were talking about it this morning, and I was like, honestly, I still don't even know what it is.
Yeah, that's right. What did they do? There was so much speculation about so many better ideas than whatever it was.
Carnival tickets and like super rare stuff, and then it was like, I think
unplayable potions.
What I gleaned from the conversation this morning was that it's a rare plus, and it could be either a rare beyond, or like a cold foil trinket.
Wow.
And it's like, that doesn't That's not what I expected. I'll tell you that. Sometimes, the sizzle machine, it's like you leave it a little mystery, leaves a gap for people to speculate, and it's just bad.
Sometimes you sizzle too long and your steak's overdone too. Yeah. And then there's nothing really to eat at the end of it.
It's kind of like that time I was like, hey, we're going to have a company culture event. It's like, I'm not going to tell you what it is, though. We're just going to go do it. And it's, it's good. It's cool. And then we show up to a putt-putt golf course outdoors, and that day it happened to be like 45 degrees. I hadn't warned anybody that we were going to be outdoors all day. And so it was cold, and some people were not equipped for that.
Yeah.
I've never done a surprise again.
Thank you.
Unless it's like, hey, here's a surprise, overnight oats.
Surprise money. Well, Whooptum Wizard and Brian Neck, both fans of the Carnival slot. You can open 3 Majestics in one pack, apparently, with it.
I had no idea.
And Carnival just meant generic, rare, or Majestic, which, is not exactly the sizzle I was looking for.
But, is that not just...
you get cards. It's a Carnival slot. The shiny things, maybe you can mail them in, to get those old-fashioned promotions.
I still think even just if each Carnival slot had been a Carnival ticket, and then those Carnival tickets you could cash in at Pro Tours and stuff for random promos that are available for Carnival ticket only.
Just you kind of do it like the Monopoly game for McDonald's. Apparently made them millions of dollars.
Yeah. If you complete a set.
Yeah. And then you got collectability. You can have your set of dragons.
Now we're in. It's like here's your 10 Carnival things. I will say, on the grand scale of excitement, the cold foil Marvel dragons way more exciting than the cold foil trinkets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one to open. It's gonna be a fun set to open.
Cold foil potion of luck. Nailed it. It looks beautiful, by the way. I love that card.
A couple of things that happened while we were streaming that is kind of beside the point for Fab, but I've seen some folks mention it in the stream. Is really cool development where KeyForge, if you guys didn't know, got purchased by Christian T. Peterson.
I'm going to be honest. Christian T. Peterson is the founder of Fantasy Flight Games.
He made honestly, if this was his long plan all along, genius territory for sure. He buys the company, or he buys the printing press.
Dude, from a business.
He buys the rights to KeyForge. He probably paid pennies for that stuff.
So he sold Fantasy Flight Games, or they merged with Asmodee.
Yeah.
And then, as far as I know, he kind of goes off on his own and sells out, basically, to some extent. It's genius. And then he's just buying back things. He bought the Game Center.
Yeah, he bought the store, the printing
KeyForge,
press, and the game.
And then he got the IP back. It's like, what did you buy, actually? I don't know the answer to that.
They bought some, all the board games and stuff.
Asmodee got sold to some big investment firm. Investment firm sold it to someone else. They sold
I'm too inspired already.
Well, they sold to some big video game company.
Yeah, the video game investor group or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm sure they do not care about KeyForge, right? It's like, what?
But it's cool because now there's one person who does definitely care about KeyForge and probably has a lot of money.
Honestly, so many of the card game innovations of the past 15 years are directly tied to either Christian Peterson or people that work for Christian Peterson. So I'm typically a pretty optimistic person. And my optimism for the future of KeyForge did not exist. Honestly, people would ask me.
It's not registering.
It's like, it was a real conversation. It's little stuff like, should we even have a KeyForge channel in the Discord channel? And we kept being like, well, maybe. They keep talking like they might.
We're going to give it at least to Gen Con.
Yeah. But that's probably the best thing that could have happened. Just Asmodee in general, I don't think has the systems in place with the desire to support an expansive, competitive game and what would need to happen there. And I think the cost to them, the upfront cost of rebooting that engine, probably not there. But I know Christian
loves it, man.
He was actually
he always believed in KeyForge.
He was visiting when KeyForge was coming out, the day it was coming out. Remember
that's
that?
Right.
KeyForge in the store, yeah.
And
that's something he very deeply cared about.
Yeah.
And innovation, I think, is his biggest thing. He likes to explore new territory. So I'm excited. I think it's a chance to kind of do a 2.0, right? I think you probably want it to be backwards compatible with the old decks.
Yeah, which is easy.
But anything you want to change or do differently or revamp.
You could learn some lessons from SoulForge.
Build the app.
Too, on that front.
Finally.
Build the app. He's going to build the app.
He loves technology, man. He loves technology.
That Lord of the Rings app wasn't exactly a bestseller. But it could happen. So,
but
you build the KeyForge app.
What's the XCOM? that board game?
XCOM was fun.
That's highly regarded.
Yeah, as an implementation of like an app-based.
Same with the Mansions of Madness.
Mm-hmm. And like Descent, didn't Descent finally do that?
Oh, yeah. Descent was the 3.0, but that was kind of post-Christian.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Good question, Joshua Hatch. Is KeyForge 2.0 going to be able to compete with SoulForge, though? I think so. I think they're totally different games. They don't play the same at all.
The upside of both of those games is I think they're both very manageable to participate in from a financial standpoint and a time standpoint. So they're in the same lane, but I think the IP and theme will be a big separator as well.
Yeah. Both Richard Garfield games.
Yeah, I'm really... I'm excited and curious. I do believe competition yields innovation.
Can you imagine, like, you go to a store on a Tuesday night, you buy a SoulForge brick, and then you play some sealed SoulForge, and then on Thursday night, you buy a KeyForge $10 KeyForge deck, play some KeyForge.
Easy, man. It's free.
That's a whole new type of player. That's a whole new archetype. It's basically I only play Magic Limited player porting into, like, a new format, which is very similar to just playing Limited, basically.
Yeah. I was very happy to see that, honestly. I was a huge fan of KeyForge. I have 100+ decks probably from those first 3 or 4 sets.
Yeah.
And that's after, like, picking the ones that I liked and trading or selling the rest. And, like, that's a lot of decks.
I wonder if that's a problem that he could solve, is, like, that back catalog of the decks that don't quite make it.
SoulForge does it perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm. The pairing.
The half decks is actually so... I don't know if you can solve the previously thing, but you could easily make half decks in it.
I mean... Could you not just say shuffle 2 KeyForge decks together?
You could.
Yeah. Because you just call a house, so like if you have 6 houses, it's weird.
You'd have to line up the 3 houses to make it efficient. But you could also make it where decks are actually just one house. It's like 12 cards, and you mix 3, and then
that would be tight.
You're doing your thing. That's a game changer, right? That's what I mean, though. That's like more like a booster pack too. It's like if you could pay $4 and get a new third of a deck, kind of a thing.
I wonder, too, because you could also just take all those old decks and just rip the Brobnar cards from this deck.
Totally.
And that's not your Brobnar piece.
You could literally, all old decks, you could just rip.
Wow. I kind of like that a lot. It's like building your motorcycle, like Road Rash.
The 12 cards from any given house just need to have the same deck name.
Yeah. Okay.
You're after the race.
I like that. And I like that very much.
Actually, so many of my decks, it's like these 12 cards are really good, but the other 24 from the other 2 houses aren't good with it. So if I could rip that out and pair it, with the other decks.
Yeah, give you a little more agency to a little deck building.
That's why I was so excited about SoulForge is like so many, if it's only a half deck, the idea, like how many of my, what's the Sanctum? Is that the Knights and stuff? Would have like, need a bunch of Knights out.
Sure.
And then it's like, I don't have enough Knights. Yeah. But if I could pair it with the right 12 cards, I would get the Knights I need.
That's actually a great idea. Ultimately, you don't change anything about KeyForge. You still just buy a deck. It's 3 houses, and you can play it sealed. But then you can rip and
it's constructed, right?
It's so smart. Like, okay, Christian, you listen?
Yeah,
give us a call. We'll take a finder's fee for that idea.
Yeah,
just 10% of the first
send it on over.
New set will be adequate.
Yeah, that seems adequate. That one thing is 10% worth.
All right, let's talk about Fab for a second before you got to get out of here, and we're just gonna roll on. We just had a few minutes here to chat. I wanted to say cheers to Norian. I said thanks for getting the Uprising stuff out. We're certainly happy to do it. It means a lot to us to make sure that kind of stuff happens.
Disn't saying there's a Road Rash reference?
Yeah, I made a Road Rash reference. I said, I don't really know. I said like ripping apart the pieces of the deck that you want and building the deck that you do want. It was like Road Rash when you built your motorcycle.
Oh, nice.
You could like.
I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah. One of my favorite games. Oh, so
classic.
Good.
That's right on the bike. I think was people.
Yeah, I think it was the one. Let's see. So Norian, cheers. We're happy to do it. That's one of the benefits of being curated like we are with a small amount of titles. Is like we can be very focused and locked into what exactly is happening with each game, which is really cool. Doja the First Fist saying, play the original SoulForge on iPad. Loved it. Excited about the tabletop version. Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see both these games come out. It could be another year for KeyForge. We don't know anything on that, but we'll definitely keep updated on it.
There's a new website. I think it's called like KeyForging or something. .com. It's like the temporary home while they're doing everything. But on there, they were saying that the deal was completed early June of 2022.
Wait,
for Christian
this June?
Literally, like probably
this
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, this June, this year. So I would assume. I mean, who knows? Christians. The way they framed it was like we're going to really reconsider everything and just make sure we have a good plan going forward.
Yeah, cool. Love it.
So I don't think we'll see like a Gen Con 2022 moment. Christian has a history with FFG of having these big announcements at Gen Con. Asmodee with FFG is kind of pulled back from that. So maybe Gen Con 2023, he comes back and
comes in there with a cape on. And,
he's back.
Yeah, I'm back, baby. He's got the scepter and everything. Chinchilla, I just finished your previous stream. Pardon me that you guys went out to Electric Forest in Michigan. I would love to do that, by the way. It's been on my list for a while. To music festivals. Turned out to be COVID, which is presumably less fun. Glad you guys are okay. All right, Fab. So tell me your early. Do you have a sharing on stream clause with your Wolfpack team buddies? Are they if you reveal information like Brendan can't, he obviously can't say anything of value on Arsenal Pass because he's got to stick to the team. So he can't spill the beans on what's working, what isn't, which is why, Kano out of nowhere kind of stuff. So
you do have a policy, which is you can say whatever you want. 99% of like thoughts on the meta and the conversation are some prominent player somewhere has that opinion, right? It's not like a surprise.
Yeah.
Like if you are playing enough of this game, you kind of know that, as an example, Dromai is really miserable into the Guardians.
Yeah.
Like just bad.
Dragon blow up.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't attack with the dragons.
Right.
Because they have a popper in every hand.
Sure.
It's like Prisms could get around that with the footsteps.
Yes.
So it's like, come at you with a Herald, and then also all of her Spectras and Auras.
That was the thing. You can only attack one a turn, and they don't blow up. Yeah.
So like that's not news to anybody. I think the secret stuff is, it's the 1% thing that you only discover after your 50th game of the deck in a certain matchup because you're really trying to figure that. Like
there could be an innovation with Dromai that allows you to beat Guardians that we haven't found yet.
Yeah, and if we found that and we thought we had some secret sauce, maybe it isn't talked about.
You're going to France, right?
Yeah, but the thing about it is like as an example, my Briar deck. One of the cards I got into very late in the testing for the Pro Tour was Tome of the Arcanite.
Yeah,
and it's basically you put this card in the deck when you have really bad odds to win. You're going second against Chain.
Hit your Hail Mary.
Yeah, you're going second against Chain, or you're playing against Starvo, and it's like, this is a great card.
Wow, neither one of those exists anymore.
That's right.
Isn't that awesome? How freeing is that?
Dude, I have 8 sideboard slots, and it's amazing. Yeah. And, you have to pick and choose. If Starvo and Chain are the best decks, then your sideboard is going to slant that direction. In the same way, like right now, if I'm kind of getting back into OG Bravo, because Prism's only 150 points away from being gone, and once Prism's gone, Bravo and Oldham are ready to run wild.
Once Prism's gone, the whole thing, it's a whole new thing. She's keeping a lot of decks down.
I'm just, messing around, but I'm working on Bravo, assuming Prism's gone. And it's like, I have 15 slots open. It's crazy. Out of 80. It's the number of cards he's having to play to try to win that match. Same with Briar, where you can drop Tome of the Arcanite, you can drop all sorts of random little things that you're running.
Who do you think is the fastest? So my armchair, just looking at the numbers of the decks, I felt like the 2 decks that were really keeping mid-range decks, and when I say mid-range, what I actually mean is like not min-maxed into either offense or defense. Being able to play defensive hands, being able to play offensive hands, and being able to adapt mid-game based on what you draw and what your opponent's doing. Playing flesh and blood. But not having a linear strategy of I just crush my cards down and never block, or I only block. A
good example of this was OG Chain. Like Monarch Chain, when he had Seeds of Agony. He would literally, he could just not block.
There was no reason to.
Yeah, now actually back in the day, like his first 2 or 3 turns, he's not really trying to score a bunch of damage. He's pitch stacking and then just not taking damage. And then once he has his 4th or 5th shackle, he's no longer blocking.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's him with that red in the ledger.
Yeah.
Now, and he's like, I got to block that. And then I'm like,
Lightning Briar is another good example.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's all 0 cost with Go Again. It's just trying to literally play out 5-card hands when it can.
And if you're playing a bunch of 0 for 4s that block for 2, why would you ever block with those cards?
The math never makes sense.
It never makes sense, right? So that's a very so there's 2, essentially there's just 3 templates in my mind. There's linear offense, linear defense, and then, everybody in between. But Chain's pretty linear offense was so inevitable over time that even the value gained the mid-range, a well-played mid-range deck generates value over time. You have the classic Dory axes with Dynamo.
Yeah, even the original Dory Dawnblade.
Yeah, incremental advantage. Dawnblade gets a little bigger every turn, hopefully, or you're putting the pressure on. And so as you're gaining incremental advantage, you kind of slowly roll into the advantageous position and win the game. Chain's rolling into the winning position was built into the hero. So it didn't matter if you were making slightly better exchanges.
Yeah.
He was getting an extra card every turn, and it didn't matter.
And he could actually mid-range harder than you. Because once he has 6 shackles, he can block with 2 cards.
Yeah.
And then he has a 6-card hand.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Like Dory's thing is she can block with 2 cards and have a 10 damage turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or an 8 damage turn or whatever.
It's very true.
And then he's just like, I'll husk, have a 10-card hand, and then after that I'll block with 3 cards and still have a 6-card hand. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then you've got the Vis with Skeleton was too fast for any mid-range deck to ever have enough time to gain advantage. Yeah. And so that's gone as well. And so now and then Starvo was just busted. So Starvo being gone fixes the Starvo problem, basically.
If you take away 1,000 of his Living Legend points, he still has more Living Legend points than most heroes.
He was absurd.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, he just shut down all kinds of decks.
He lapped heroes on the Living Legend score.
So with Chain and Viscality being gone, I feel like we're back in a pocket where there are some of those lower, what were previously lower tier aggro mid-range decks can start coming into the conversation. So even things like Katsu, Bolton, Dory, Dash, like an aggro year Dash can come back in. Boy, there's a lot. That's the crazy thing. There's so many decks down there.
It's basically
Leviah can probably come back in a little bit.
It's all of the heroes that aren't Oldham and Bravo.
Yeah, basically.
That's the mid-range,
non-guardians, right? Yeah.
And there was a time where like Katsu was the aggro deck.
Lexi looks good now too.
Dude,
Lexi looks really good.
You'd be surprised how good Lexi is.
I would not be surprised.
Oh man,
I've seen Yuki play that over and over.
Sometimes you get in the ice spiral,
inspiration,
and it's just like I can't do anything.
Yeah. So with all of these decks potentially rising up, the cream rises to the top, as our friend Ric Flair says. So Briar and Lexi strike me as, if we look at the meta as it was, kind of the people left up top that have a really good shot at controlling the pace of the game. Has that been the experience so far? You think Briar Lexi is kind of the fastest tempo setting decks in the meta?
So,
or is Fi now a new we're really fast?
Prior to Uprising coming out, so there was a tournament this past weekend in Ohio, a 10K that was being run. I think it was Realm Games that was running it. And that event was won, interestingly, by a Briar on a Corsham build.
Oh, finally found its home, huh? Someone was eventually going to think about that hard enough, right? I look at that card and I'm like,
There's a lot of things. I
want to swing my sword, man.
about that are, we wwon't go into it, but it's an interesting deck. There's a lot of ways to play Briar, but I think the default thinking was Briar would be the aggro deck. Because she was already almost fast enough to beat Chain, but she can also play defense.
Yeah.
Which is, I always liked it better because I could
it is
play.
It is a really good mid-range deck, ultimately. It's built to be mid-range. Your offense turns into your defense. You can pivot really easily.
100%, yeah. And like she can play 2-card hands really well.
Remember when she used to have Embodiment of Earth anytime she hit?
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many turns in testing where it's like, you remember when you'd have 5 embodiments right now? And it's like, that's really crazy.
Just one card block of CNC.
Yeah. It's like, here's my so tomorrow for your CNC. How about that? You ever think about that one? Anyways, so there's Briar, and she was already really good. And I am of the belief that she's very high odds into Prism.
Yeah, she is.
Who's one of the other best decks.
Yeah.
And then you have, Bravo is starting to be in the conversation again. Oldham's in the conversation again because Briar is so good into Prism. Prisms are a lot less likely to be around. Previously, Prism had a really good Chain match and a really good Starvo match.
Sure. Kind of the answer.
So now she's not so good into the aggro thing.
Yeah.
She's still good, but not as like she was.
Prism just always feels like one of those heroes that can win a game. No matter what you're doing.
She's waiting for you to make a lot of bad decisions.
She gives you like a million opportunities to be bad at Fab.
Yeah. But so playing with some of the new cards, I think Crown of Providence is really good.
Yeah. Super good card.
It makes the stock of Command and Conquer for me go down. The number of times now where it's like, they'll play CNC. It's like, I'll block for 2, draw the card, don't even lose a card, take 4. Like, okay. That's a fine.
Yeah.
It used to be if you just CNC on your turn, that's like a really good like pivot turn.
Yeah.
Because they kind of need to block with 2 cards, or they're going to take 6 and lose the arsenal or whatever. Not anymore.
Yeah, you got Providence, and Seeds is still there too. So there's places where it's not good there too.
But I will say, I think Phi is very good, like exceptionally good.
Yeah, and not solved yet for sure.
Yeah, not even fully optimized. But I think Phi is tier 1. But right now, tier 1, I think it's the red deck wins moment, right? Where I've been keeping track of when I play against Phi, how many times they block ever, and it's very low. And it reminds me of, I remember in the Monarch chain days when he just wouldn't block you at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if he's not going to block me, there's some cards I wasn't playing at the time, Viscerai.
That consuming volition and
yeah. It's like, oh, I'll create a rune chant and consuming I'll rune chant, Mavri, and consuming. And it's like, you don't want to pitch to pay 1 on arcane damage.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to block with 2 cards. So a lot of times they would pitch, pay 1, and not block the attack because they haven't taken arcane damage. But sometimes you have 4 rune chants. It's like, well, you're taking the arcane, and it's like, are you going to block with 2 cards here?
Yeah, now you've got the other one, Rika Corruption, too, right?
Yeah.
You play that?
That's not, currently, no.
Okay, but it's on the list.
The thing about it is, with consuming, you're kind of pushing 2 variables. On that one, it's like, if they block the attack, it stops the card.
Sure.
So it's a little less, not forcing as the other big one at the time was meet and greet. It's like, well, if you're not going to block the rune chant from consuming, and I've got 2 floating, I can meet and greet, and I switched to the one that before Rosetta, the 1 for 3 that prevents
the Nebula Blade, no, the Reaping Blade.
I was on the Reaping because the math works out so well on the. You have 1 cost attacks back then, so it was like consuming volitions, meet and greets, the Spellblade Strike, I think, is the 1 for 4 that creates 1 rune chant. Spellblade Assault's 2 for 4 that creates 2 rune chants. Anyways, so you start finding your way into cards that penalizes their lack of blocking. So I think Phi is going to have the same thing.
And I like where Phi is at design wise, even just from playing and sealed a bunch. It's like it's overtly bad at blocking.
Yeah.
Like all of these cards, you're incentivized to play R2 blocks.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of these earlier heroes had the aggro advantage, but they also had a lot of 3 blocks in their hands.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah, so like Briar's case, you could block for 7.
I think we're kind of finding the right balance. I saw this is a cool comment from Goon. Testing Drillmai can make more dragons than Guardians can kill. Plus, Ghost Gloves is pretty decent against decks that want to pop everything. Have you tested Ghost Gloves into that?
You're right. So the problem is Guardian doesn't need to kill them.
Yeah, I think that's the main issue. Is like against Prism, you're getting pinged with these Spectral Shields and Auras, and if you don't deal with them, their effects stack up and do something bad. The moment, like you can leave 20 dragons on the table, swing with 1 Phantasm, turn over.
Yeah, your turn's literally over.
Even lead the charge dragon is probably 2 pops in the Guardian's hand.
Every time.
So it's like
I mean, I can't tell.
It doesn't matter. You could have 1,000 dragons on the board.
Literally in my Bravo deck, I think it's 40 plus cards that pop. So, and that's the problem. The biggest problem is not that they can pop. It's that they can pop and you don't really have a reliable way to keep going.
Yeah.
And so, Prism has the boots, and also you can't pop her auras like that. Like, if you could block and blow up the auras that are attacking you, Prism, like Briar, 100% win rate.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever lose that ever again.
Right.
It's crazy math.
And like Disney saying, there are dragons that do things too. Yeah, it doesn't have the compounding impact that Prism's auras all be. Like Genesis, 2 Genesis on the table is like
if you just leave Genesis, you're just done.
But there's the dragon that the first thing loses Phantasm, so maybe your strategy is get that out and then get a big dragon out and swing. But then they can also just take care of whatever the problematic. So it's not as oppressive as Prism. It doesn't feel like such a lock. It feels more fair
because they can still whatever the dragons are that have the effects that actually matter. It's like Bravo's like, I'll swing the hammer at it. You have the one that makes it where your first thing was Phantom. Okay, I'll clear that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll kill that.
He's a very patient man. But you just try it. I encourage you to try it from our interactions with it. So, like, at first, it's like, okay, well, what if you had a bunch of baby dragons instead?
Rake the embers a bunch.
And then it's still just a problem because they just end your turn.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now you have to run time snaps and lead the charge. And you're already, like, running a lot of weird cards. And so... maybe I'm wrong.
It could be solvable.
We'll find out soon, right? We're about to enter Road to National season, and we're in early days of testing. But I will say, like, Dromai was the thing I was the most excited about in the new set, and ran into some pretty big brick walls. Now, how many Guardians are there going to be?
See, if that happened to me, I'd get super excited. I'd be like, oh my god.
So here's the other.
This is my territory.
There's too many, and maybe, but there's too many. There's a lot of problems with it. The other one is that people get hit effects hitting the dragons.
Yeah.
So like if you're testing its Phi as an example, they're like, 3 damage with go again. It's like, okay, I don't want to block that. Right. Second one's like 4 with go again. It's like, do you want to use 2 cards here? Okay, I'll take it, whatever. And then the third one is like
Phoenix Flame for mask.
Well, Phoenix Flame works. Yeah, so they grab Phoenix Flame. It's like Phoenix Flame into a baby dragon. Can't block it. I get a mass draw.
Yeah,
it's like ooh, that's really bad. Yeah, and it's like or you block with 2 cards on the. Anyways, hit effects on that are a problem. Like in Briar, I had some really gross. They'd have a good dragon out. I had the embodiment. It's like snatch into the good dragon, clears the dragon, and I draw a card. And it's just like,
ouch. Yeah.
Not ideal. So
doors are like glistening steel blade for like a bajillion counters.
Yeah.
Now they are the other thing too though is like if you're killing baby dragons to get hit effects, there are going to be a lot of really bad trades made by people doing that. Where it's like I'm going to snatch your baby dragon for 4, and it's like I just blocked 4 damage. I got a free sink below.
Yeah, I don't think the baby dragons are where you're using that.
Yeah.
But like if you're playing a good dragon. That has 4 health or less.
You can just milk it. Yeah, I see that.
It's like, I'll clear that and get a card back.
That's great for Bolton too, man. Wow. Yeah.
If it hits, you draw a card on the just 0 for 3s. The
Bolt
charge.
of Courage and
100%. And you don't lose go again.
Engulfing.
So like a lot of to me, it's like a really fair version of Prism.
Yeah.
Might have too many problems at the moment.
Sounds like a puzzle to be solved, man.
As we've seen though, like if you go back to the first Welcome to Wraith, so many clutch cards now were in that first supplemental set. Like Courage of Bladehold as an example.
Yeah, sure.
So, and the jury's not out. Like we've done a limited amount. My initial thoughts though are like Dromai is so restrictive.
You know what that means? That means either you're completely right and it's like Azalea, or you're completely like somebody's gonna bring something to somewhere and be like, oh my gosh, we never thought about that.
I would love that to be true. So like the only 3 Road to Nats I'm playing in are draft. So I'm testing CC right now because we are waiting on the set to come out. But it's basically all draft.
Yeah.
Afterwards, and then I'm gonna let everyone else worry about constructing, and I'll see the Road to Nationals lists rolling in.
Yeah, and then you start
and then August will come around. It's like okay, now I'll put in the constructed work. I love that the Pro Tour France is split format, but we have done a couple test drafts on TTS, and man. I read the table. I ended up playing Phi.
It always feels like a cop-out, doesn't it?
Well, so I originally was grabbing some dragons. And because if you're going to play Dromai, you need in Seal, I think you need some good dragons. And I saw one of my first couple picks. And I was also just getting like generic draconic stuff that was good. And I was trying to stay open. But then I could tell very quickly that there were 2 Phi players to my right. It's like, I can't. And like by like 7 cards left, there were no ninja cards left, kind of a thing. It's like I can't force this issue. Or no, it was the other way. No illusionist.
They were taking all the illusionist cards. Okay.
And it's like, well, I have a bunch of draconic cards. There's all the good ninja cards are sitting here. I'm gonna go ninja. But I'm just not good with Phi. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just too used to actually blocking with Briar. But like, it did not go well. So I think Phi, you can think like, this is just, it's not like Briar in Tales. Yeah. So that I have a ton to learn in the draft format. Yeah. I think that Icelander and Dromai in draft and sealed are like incredibly good too.
Do you think you always take a dragon if you see it in your first pack?
Depends on what else is the first bet.
I mean, it's a strong signal if you pass the person next to you a dragon, like in the rare majestic slot or whatever. It's
if it's a good dragon,
take it.
It would be very tempting.
Pass me non-illusionist card.
You know, in Fi, to me, the 0-cost red go again cards are like...
That's a premium.
So, really in Fi and Dromai, they're so good. So if you have a dragon in a pack or a red scar for a scar as an example, it's like... Or the...
Those fighting spirits.
Yep.
So strong.
There's a lot of really strong cards. So it just depends. I do think you draft... There's only 14 draftable cards in a pack this time instead of 15. So it's like 42 cards. So you're going to have 12 cards you don't need to play. And if you end up on Fi or Dromai, you can technically play Phoenix Flame.
Sure.
So the first 3 to 5 picks for me, it's like I'm kind of just taking the best card.
Yeah. I'm kind of feeling that too.
And then I'm trying to start judging what people are doing. Draconic is nice because it's kind of like a secondary generic almost. We actually, in one pool, had 3 Icelander. And in my mind, if there's 3 Icelander, there's no way any of those decks can be good.
Right, yeah. But that was wrong, right?
Yeah, Mike went 3 with. But, Mike's also a different... If he's playing Wizard, it's a different... Dude, him on Ice Wizard is miserable.
Yeah, he just... Somehow he just is like doing more damage than you.
Yeah.
It's just like, how is this happening? Your cards say less damage on them, but you're beating me.
Yeah,
turn by turn.
Somehow. What's happening? I don't get it. You're stacking things together.
Was he maintaining priority? That was the secret.
All the time, yeah.
Maintain priority.
All that to say, I think so far, my draft sealed experiences have been exceptional. I think this may be on the same level to me as like a Welcome to Wraith. There's something about Welcome to Wraith, just its simplicity and
it's like a good vanilla,
and its introduction. Like we started there, that's pretty nostalgic for me. But all the nuances here without feeling complicated.
Yeah, it is. It's not complicated.
Yeah,
I love it. And like we were talking about earlier, when we originally went through all the cards for Uprising, there wasn't a single card that hit me like Crown of Seeds, oh no. Awakening, oh whoa, that's crazy. Like even Soul Reaping is the classic example. When I see that card for the first time in a library, I'm
you couldn't get over that forever.
I'm like, what? Wait. So they're all just right in the pocket. I mean, they're all just fundamentally good fab cards.
Yeah.
Which is really nice that there's not like that big, Crown of Providence is hardly like this is going to be a busted card. They're going to have to ban this someday,
It's interesting though, because you were leaning more towards this, but like Starvo was shown, and like I played him that first weekend, and it was a very suboptimal deck, and I was like, he's pretty good, but like, he's kind of fun. He's
playing him with Bounty, Earthwood Bounty.
Yeah. I mean, I was on a shtick.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But so it could be the same thing. We might get to Road to Nats. I think there's some this weekend, and it's like there's some Dromai or Fi or Icelander deck that's just like disgusting. But
Icelander would be the one.
I don't get those feelings. I'm not like, oh my goodness. And even Everfest. First time I saw Revel and Runeblood and Swarming Gloomveil, I was just like,
you make that face like that.
It's just like, I mean, I'm gonna put him in the Viscerai deck, but woo,
I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. So and maybe it's just because I'm a Runeblood player. And Guardian, like I saw Awakening.
You can't say that anymore. The history of the game, it really puts you in a bad light if you say you're a Runeblade player.
I'm a Viscerai Earthbriar player, which is the lowest tier of Runeblade you can be.
That makes it okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Chain, it wasn't Lightning Briar, so like,
You're with Vis from day one. Yep. I mean, that's true. He's moody. You love the moody hero.
Yeah.
Real quick from old Poop Tart 77, which is quite a funny name. Had no idea what's going on with this game, but it looks good. I want to try it with some of the Blitz decks. It's a great game. We're actually don't necessarily wait, but we're actually working on a new player bundle that we'll probably have in the next few weeks, and that'd be an awesome way to start the game too. So if you stick around and you just want to watch a few streams over the next few weeks, you can get a feel for how the game functions, and we won't just talk. We'll actually play it, and then you can see if you want to get involved. We loved it. We love it.
I love this comment. It's true, and it's good for any player here. Yeti saying, I'm new to the game. I've only been to 2 events, but the people I've played against are super cool and have not come across as toxic at all.
Yeah.
The community is great. It is very positive. We don't have a lot of experience with like Magic, which I know a lot of people. It's a giant community, so you're gonna.
That's the thing. It's just so many people.
Yeah,
of course.
But it is a wonderful community.
Yeah.
And if you're not on our Discord channel, definitely check that out.
Okay, so my final question for you. Given here saying Icelander's oppressive, had a game yesterday. She just constantly kept Channel Lake Frigid out.
Easy solution.
Just gonna look at Matt Coles in the chat. What's up, teammate Matt Coles?
What up?
Heard you had a good time, weird time in Ohio. But hey, you top 4 in the team event. Beat Michael Hamilton's team. You gotta love that, You gotta love that.
What is that? Should we be nervous about that?
It doesn't affect the stream, but I'll leave it. It's our monitor.
Oh, gotcha.
I'll click the button. Final question, Zach.
Yep.
So I'm testing Bolton.
Yes. You know what? I think he's actually squarely playable these days.
Well, that's an upgrade for me.
Like, it's possible. There was a glimmer of hope before, but like I feel like because the game is a turn to turn and a half slower than it used to be.
Yeah. Stubby's Hair on Fire Bolton could be the fastest deck, barring any disruption. Of
Dude,
course.
Fi with Stubby Hammers has some turns.
Oh, I'm sure. It's absurd.
Yeah, it's gross.
But here's the thing. Is
Taylor? Yeah, squarely playable.
So I'm pretty well decided that I've been playing Bolton almost completely wrong. I finally sat down and started running the lines, and there's so many things you feel good doing in Bolton that are bad, right? Like even
I got
just
that card and that sold.
It's even just simple things, right? It's like the play you see all the time. It's like I'm gonna hold 3 cards, I'm gonna pitch, I'm gonna play Take Flight Red, and I'm gonna charge, and then I'm gonna swing with Raiden. 7 damage for 3 cards. It's like.
Yeah.
It's so bad you just can't do it.
Yeah, Brian laughs at you.
You can't do it.
In your general direction.
There's no way a soul is worth that poor of a performance for a hand. So I've been ruthless with the math recently, and a lot of the things I was doing when I was playing Bolton were just bad. Does really well on those 4-card hands or those 1-card hands. The 2-card hands are very questionable. 3-card hands are very questionable as well. However, all that to say. Bolton clearly operates and wants to operate on a yellow pitch curve. It's never been more clear, and nothing's been more clear to me in my entire life. So with that said, do you think a hero that is pitching yellow is ever going to be able to keep up with a meta that has Icelander and Oldhim in it? Do you think you can get away not having a blue resource curve right now? Is it conceivable?
I don't know.
How many frostbites are you into the turn with? I mean, what are we looking at? Blizzard? Is it, you're getting blizzarded, you're getting frostbitten.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, right?
Oldhim threatens sometimes with a hammer.
Yeah, Oldhim I can deal with. That's old news.
Sometimes Lake Frigid, but even earlier someone was saying the constant Lake Frigid from Icelander. So the secret is Arcane Barrier 3 and Patience.
Oh, well, see, I can't do that on a yellow curve.
I know, but I'm talking about in Icelander, if she's keeping it out, if you're having problems with that.
Yeah.
She can keep doing it, but she can actually only do so much in a turn. So if you can pitch a blue on their turn and pitch a blue on your turn, you're going to stop most of the damage they're sending. You'll take some, but they only have 3 Lake Frigids, and if they keep them out for 2-3 turns each, 3 of your turns, you just have to make it through 9 turns of that. But yeah, you have 40 health to play with, and I would just say threaten what you can, but if what you're doing, especially in Icelander, is using all your resources to actually attack and then having no cards left in hand, that's exactly how she gets you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'll do 5
standard wizard.
Yeah, it's
a standard wizard.
I would just, against Ice, just be patient. Double down on patience.
Right.
Playing Bravo again has got me back in that mindset.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I can just take no damage here, swing nothing back, and pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
So tell me this though. I mean, should I just reorient myself?
We're being
spammed by Christian fundamentalism on one day, and then we're getting spammed by show me naked women on the next.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Do you think it's the same people, right? That are just kind of changing the messaging a little bit.
It is better, I think.
It is better. That's right. It is better.
The recurring message that's exactly the same, I'm just blocking because I can tell it's spam of some kind. Also, Christian spam. Please.
That's good. That's my new product line,
Yeah.
Christian spam, right there on the can.
Yeah.
It'll be like the Dr. Bronner's of spam.
To answer your question on the yellow pitch curve.
Yeah.
I think it's possible. I think.
Great.
The thing I'm thinking about is.
I love it.
If you have, let's say, 2 what do your hands look like when you have 1, 2, and 3
frostbite? Yeah. Well, with 3, they don't look great. Ultimately, I mean, because you've got to charge.
Yeah.
You got to play a card, and you've got to pitch 2 cards. So you're already on 4 there to play 1 card.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you're in those situations, you probably just don't.
Yeah.
So you also might be on AB3 and like pitch a yellow and a red.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to do anything anyway when you have that many frostbite.
True. Could, like Damon's hand, maybe run Vestige of Soul and pitch a yellow, and then everything else pitches for +1. Maybe can help clear it out.
Yeah.
There's some play there, maybe.
Yeah, you just have to... I'd have to see it on the table. But it is... She's good.
Yeah.
Like, she... The main thing that I've been finding is her... I think she's good until people know how to play against it.
Yeah. It was kind of like Kano for a while until they got roll good. I
don't think it'll necessarily make her bad, but at the same time, like, a lot of the biggest things she does is when, I've been testing as Briar and Viserai and also Bravo and stuff, but like when have a big turn, your big turns just don't exist. So it's just like Ice Lexi with Briar. Mm-hmm. I basically assume I'm not going to play Channel Mount Heroic.
Yeah.
Because like the moment you think you're going to like, I'll take some damage and then like we'll Mount Heroic and I'll do this great thing. Then they come in with the next arrow and then it's like, well, if you don't block it, you're going to have to pay 1 or discard a card.
Right.
For every arrow that hits. It's like, oh no. Suddenly I took all that damage and then now I'm just losing cards. Yeah. So same thing with Icelanders. It's not common as Briar to play a Mount Heroic against Icelander. Because she just mid-turn will give you like 4 frostbites. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, if you took a bunch of damage... Because you're like, I'm going to play Rabble, Scar for a Scar, Snatch for 21 damage with a heroic out. Sometimes it's like, that's only 7.
Yeah.
And they stop the rest of your turn. And it's like Blizzard, pay 2 or lose it. It's like,
yeah, you just have to be patient. Ice makes you patient. I mean, Lexi still, the old school strategy for Warriors still works. You just block them.
Yeah.
Block them until you literally are like, oh, I have cards suddenly, and then try to do something with them.
Icelander does have the out, which is the Frost Hex.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is wicked. So I was playing a game the other day, and Mike had 2 of them out, and I was playing it slow. It's like, I'm not going to take any damage I can prevent. I'm going to threaten when I can. I'm not going to overextend. Because when you overextend, you get in this weird situation where you pay, and then you don't have any to pay off the damage, and then all of a sudden they're hitting you, and you're frostbit, and it's this whole thing. But Frost Hex, at the end of your turn, any frostbite you don't clear does it damage to you. So there's 2 out, it does 2 damage to you.
Yeah.
And so there was a turn where I blocked as much as I could, and then he was able to get me on like 7 frostbite or something. Because he played the one that gives you...
It's a forever engine.
Yeah. It was bad. I think he gave me 5 on his turn.
Like art incarceration kind of thing, yeah.
He gave me like 5 on his turn and did damage. And so I couldn't do anything. I had a low resource hand.
What was that Eisenhower Weathervane thing?
So I couldn't do anything to clear the frostbites.
Yeah.
And then he gave me more from Arsenal. And it was just like, oh no. So he did, I think, 10 or 12 damage that I just couldn't stop at all. So she at least has Lexi runs out of arrows. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't stack up. She has a 3 of a kind turns and a Rain Razor's turns. But like, Icelander has an actual, okay, you can wait. Yeah, I'm going to get 3 Frost Hex out. And then like,
she has the inevitability, that late game.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess you just got to test it. Joshua Hatch, playing on the cards that put cards in soul without charging. You wouldn't believe how high value those cards are right now for me. Looking at the charge math is very bad. Yeah. There are ways to do it well, but we're doing it too much. Yeah,
there's hit effects are good.
There's good hit effects for sure. And sometimes people have, I think Iceland is just going to be miserable for a hero like Bolton, and that's going to be the reality for some matchups with any hero. And
sometimes
doesn't play
attacks.
Bad matchups, right? Yeah, didn't play attacks, ices you out. It's like, okay, I'll just lose that.
I still, every time I think about Bolton now, I'm just so sad about Plunder Run.
Oh, yeah. It really helped him.
The combo of the auto plus and the hit effect is like, is very, it's just built for him.
Yeah, it was real good.
Yeah.
It was real good. All right, friends. Well, hey, we're going to get out of here. So all the Uprising boxes are out. Blitz decks as well.
Or
packed, ready to go. So those will start shipping. Check your information on your account if you're a subscriber. Those were, of course, charged a few weeks ago, and then we are delivering them as we speak.
Hopefully your tracking will start updating tomorrow-ish. And if you're local, pickups on Friday. Again, huge shout out to all of our subscribers. Couldn't do any of this without you, and
it's awesome. Seeing all the names come across as we're packing those boxes.
Yeah, right.
This is a lot of people.
There were a lot of familiar names there.
Yeah,
it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, it was. So Uprising soon. I think we'll get there on time.
Very excited. Hey, go out and draft this thing. You'll have a great time. I swear. If you're a new player, watch the professor did like the 20-minute how to play.
Mm-hmm.
Go to an Uprising draft. It's the premium experience.
Yeah.
It's worth your time.
Outro might be a little weird. We're kind of on a non-standard delay thing. So I'm going to click this button, and then if Zach and I stare at you for 7 seconds, it's okay.
I'm going to look at my computer, so it's not live.
Okay, yeah, we'll do it like the newscasters.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hold on.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.